and it's going to be good, close competition here tonight. And as we bring that first vehicle out to the track, you mentioned Dwayne Edwards here just a moment ago. And on behalf of Dwayne and his family is here, I'm going to say it, that what he used to say at the beginning of the night. Let's kick the tires and light the fire.
Thank you, sir. You're exactly right. That's exactly what we want to do, the Great Darke County Fair for 2025. And listen, this is quite it's one of those events that I look for each and every year. The Twin Tracks here at Darke County Fair, some of the best food you'll find any place in the Midwest comes right here in Darke County. All right, we'll find out. We're going to grandstand side. That's the Pro Stock Diesel 4x4. Nick Stam out of Stryker, Ohio, with the one called simply Frank. All right. 5 extra blocks in the sled for Mr. Bingham. Another 10,000 pounds is moving forward in competition shape. This is your test hook. Nick Stam out of Stryker, Ohio, with Frank. Let's see how we get along, and we are underway. Keep in mind, he is your test hook. He is your test hook out here tonight. $342, 6 1/4. $342, 6 1/4. He accepts that hook. So that makes things go very, very quickly. Looks good. A class of 7. A class of 7 here in the Pro Stock Diesels. When you're running a brand new track like this, you have no idea how you're going to get along. And Nick wasn't sure. First hook down the track, first opportunity to see how the track was going to behave, how the track was going to bite, how it was going to handle from a vehicular standpoint. All right, he likes what he saw, but he had options if he wanted to use them. We'll exercise those a little bit later on with some of our other classes, I'm certain. But right now, Nick Stam sits out in front, first one down the track, and accepts that 342, 625 hook. Bob Whitman will be up next with the boosted out of Republic, Ohio. But let me move to the infield side as we look for the first of our class of 15 Hot Farms. Ryan Lee Weinmiller out of Lancaster, Ohio, with one called Hammered. He's your test hook out here on the class 9,500 pound class. This is the Hot Farm class. It's one of the bigger classes that we have to run tonight. 9,500 pounds, pulling with a 20-inch drawbar. Why is that important? Because that's what holds and can control the front end of that vehicle, keeping it down on the track or letting it come up a little bit. Our Pro Stock Diesels run a 26-inch drawbar. We'll talk about what happens. You're going to go to school. You're going to learn a little bit tonight as we go along. Ryan Lee Weinmiller, Manchester, Ohio, with Hammered, your test hook, Hot Farm. Well, this track kind of snuck up on him. I'm not real sure he was quite ready for that. However, lays down a nice pass, plus or minus that 300-foot mark, the class of 15. $309.49 to the right with a 309.49. They're telling his track side that he likes 309.49. He'll keep that one as well. 2 excellent sled settings right off of the bat tonight. Beautiful, beautiful. Hot Farms in class of 15. 309.49. We're in good shape. They're telling us they like the way the sled is set. We're going to run with it right there, and we'll see what happens as we go along.
Well, Alan, real quick, a little bit of history with that first puller in our Hot Farm class. That tractor was here in Darke County, and owned by the Laux family, but that has a long history in the NTPA sport, as that tractor right there used to belong to the late Mike and Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith no longer living. Mike's still around, but that used to be the deer harvester back in the day.
It's nice to see these vehicles still in competition, maybe a little different paint job, definitely new names sometime, but nice to know that they are still viable, competitive machines. Grandstand side, Robert Whitman, Republic Ohio's Boosted, is lined up, hooked up. We wait for a couple of things to happen. We wait to make sure that the green light comes on the sled. That tells the flagman that, in this case, Mark Bingham is ready for competition. The flagman will check with each other before they give us two greens on the track. We get green over green, and we are underway with Robert Whitman. He's awfully close to the left-hand sideline on the track. Very, very close. Tough game to play. Played well. It works very well. And he played that game within 3.5 to 4 feet of that line all the way. $3.40 to the right. 340 with a 7.9 puts him in the number 2 spot right there as he slides awful close to Nick Stam's distance. Damon Wineland will be up next out of Barnesville, Ohio, with Making Trouble. So we move back to infield side. Joseph Bummer comes out of Brookville and together with Daddy's Money. Don't let the color fool you. It's hiding underneath red paint.
Real quick, we just want to remind everybody that tonight, this event is streaming live to the world, brought to you tonight by Full Pull Live. And also, they have their merchandise trailer set up down here on the horse race track. So check them out down here in the turn on the horse track.
Hiding under a paint of yellow, Daddy's Money is a 1066 International in disguise. So when it comes to red, Case IH delivers a full lineup of can-do tractors that meet every need. Discover what they can do for you. Case IH. $3.18 to the right. 3.18 and a 2.0 to the right for Joe. He takes over the lead with Daddy's Money. Kent Way will be up next with a little bro. Philip Wobbler will follow. On the grandstand side, we are looking for Damon Windland. And Damon Windland back-to-back runs. Doesn't happen very often, so we'll get a ride for him from one end of the track to the other so he can take Making Trouble to the barn and sit in the seat of Cousin Trouble. Back-to-back runs. Doesn't happen, but every once in a while the computer will kick out the numbers and you end up in a back-to-back situation, as Damon will here tonight.
Well, Alan, over here on this 3.0 diesel truck side, this will be the last hook on our Region 2 circuit, as our region is split in the southeast and northwest portion of our Region 2. Region 2 split up and makes up the Region 2 as Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. So this is the last event for the 3.0 diesel truck. So we'll crown our champion in this class tonight.
And I want you to, if you have one available, just show the crowd in a minute what that trophy is going to look like when you get a chance. Beautiful, beautiful first place presentation here. Making Trouble. When it starts skimping like that, you're going to be in trouble, and he could feel it. got out of that throttle just a little bit, but lays down a beautiful pass with Making Trouble. New first place with a 3:45, 1:15, 3:45 with a 1:15 shows up on the scoreboard at the end of the track. Now we'll get him a. Whoa! Just found out we had to pick a weight up off of the track. Damon Wineland with the Making Trouble didn't have things as tied down as securely as he thought. Loss of weight is a DQ. Infield side, Kentway, West Salem, Ohio, Little Bro. Another 10:66 down the track, Little Bro out of West Salem, Ohio. That we were talking about hitch height a while ago. That hitch height prevents that front end from coming up too high. Gives us the opportunity to control it. .322, 2:45, 3:22 with a 2:45 for Kent with the Little Bro. Beautiful pass down the track. And here again, you can get up on the wheelie bars behind, the skid bars behind, which will keep that or supposed to keep that vehicle from overturning. But when you do that, you start to unload the rear tires. You take the weight transfer that you worked so hard to get on those back tires, and you lose it. So we're going to get him a ride back. We'll get somebody to give him a ride back. Damon Winland is coming back with a cousin. He'll be on the track with Cousin Trouble. Phil Wobbler will be up next on the infield side with the Buccaneer out of Tipton, Indiana.
So again, you fans, we want to remind you the Football Live merchandise trailers down here in Turn 1 on the horse race track. They've got a wide variety of T-shirts and go down there and check them out. It's a good collection of stuff to purchase, and they are doing a good job all summer long, bringing a lot of this live coverage to you via Football Live, which can be found on Roku, Hulu, whatever it is, and do a good job.
Damon's going to take a walk, a little exercise, read the track a little bit as he makes his way down to Cousin Trouble on the grandstand side, which will bring Phil Wobbler out on the infield side. We'll run him, getting him in place in his second ride on the Pro Stock Diesel 4x4 class right there, the Pro Stock class. Ready to run here. A class of 7 here tonight, sponsored by S&S Diesel. We talked about the hitch height just a minute ago and keeping the vehicle under control a little more significantly. When you get up to a certain point and you get on the wheelies bars and you start to unload the rear tires, then that's going to cause you to slow down. That front end's going to come down. It's going to bounce hard. If you change the hitch height a little, it doesn't take much, half an inch, you will not pick the front end up as high. It will not be as far out of control. And keep in mind, when the front end's in the air, you're driving with wheel brakes. You have no steering control. You're driving with individual wheel brakes on the back. That gets a little tricky. All right, Phil Wobbler out of Tipton, Indiana with the Buccaneer. Had the opportunity to see Brun on Saturday night in Tipton in a show that was cut a little bit short, but the Buccaneer was there. $3.11 and 5, 3.11 and a 5 for Phil with a Buccaneer. 3.11.5, 3.22 leads the class. Kent Way has the lead right now. Grandstand side of things, Nick Stam still has the control of that lead with Damon's unfortunate pass with that making trouble machine. So there's your display on the board down here for the Hot Farm class. Little Bro is out in front with a 3:22.24. Daddy's Money right there close at 3:18. Not a far insurmountable distance for somebody to take that second, even first place away. So we'll find out when they come down the track here in just a little bit.
Well, tonight, this is the next to last hook for our Hot Farm Tractor class. And coming in here tonight, the Red Avenger Classic is in the number 1 spot of Mike Palmer. And the Little Bro, who just made his pass, is currently number 2 in the points. So got ourselves a little bit of a points race going on in the Hot Farm class.
And we talk about that off and on all summer long. I know you have as well, Keith. All it takes is consistency to put yourself on the very top of the class. You don't have to win every time. But if you're number 2 and number 3, you're going to end up very, very close to the very top of the class. All right. Damon got the Causing Trouble machine fired up. Again, next to that inside center line between the two tracks. Not near the hop that he had at the very end of that run that he had with his first vehicle. Did he learn something? Maybe. Here again, when you have 2 opportunities down the track, you take what you ran the first time and apply it the second. And it worked for him, too. 3:43 and 46. 3:43 and 46 cents to the right. Puts him in first place just ahead of Nick Stan. Back to the infield we go. Brian Carrington, the Endless. Brian has the first of 2 Carrington entries in the class with the Endless. Connor will be up next with the Say When. Coming out of Georgetown, Ohio, down next to Cincinnati. One of those out-of-the-way hooks, but Brown County is a place to visit. $3:45 and 81. $3:45 and 81 for Brian Carrington.
And Brian Carrington pulled here this afternoon and finished very well up in our standings here this afternoon. And his son will be out here a little bit later on, and he won the class here this afternoon in our Hot Farm class, the Darke County Show. Over here in our 3.0 Pro Stock Diesel Truck class, coming in here tonight, like I said, this is our final hook. The big red Dodge of the Widman family comes in here in a points lead. And the Causing Trouble, who just made his pass, which is our current leader in our 3.0 truck class, is currently number 2, 3 points behind the leader. So it's going to be a real tight race to the finish here.
And the races are so exciting, Keith. When you watch them all summer long, somebody sneezes, and all of a sudden they've slipped 2 points or 2 positions in the lineup. It's a fight to the finish all summer long. However, that being said, these guys are all friends. Grandstand side, Garrett Locks comes out of Osceola, Indiana with a wired-fired machine. Again, trying to play that game of left-hand side of the track, which is where we've seen Damon run with two vehicles. Oh, that bounce when it finally gets so severe that you lose traction with a pair of your tires, then you have a problem very, very quickly. Garrett Laux out of Osceola. Talk about a game of inches. Damon laid down a 343.460. Garrett Laux lays down a 343.515. That's not very far, but we're out in first.
That is like splitting hairs. That is very close competition. I'm telling you, we're only talking a matter of inches between first and second currently, with two hooks left to go.
And two tough ones left to go. Cody Bader and Eric Woodman, you're right. Two tough competitors. Back to the infield we come. Connor Carrington now out of Georgetown, Ohio, the second out of the Carrington stable. This is Say When on the track. Connor Carrington with a 343, 2 1/4. 343, 225. We move back grandstand side. Out of Baltimore, Ohio comes the full bore machine. Cody Bader in the driver's seat of this one. We're chasing 343.515 right now of Garrett Laux. The wire fired out of Osceola, Indiana, is on top of the class with a 343.515. Cody lets that and spool up. Going to need it all he's got. And it looks like he had it figured out when he left the line down there, Keith.
That was a smooth pass. I mean, I'm telling you, he picked the line a little bit different. He was a little bit further to the left as he came down the track, and it was perfectly smooth for Cody Bader here tonight.
And he knew what he was doing because that line gave him the first place right now at 357 and 18 cents. 357 and an 18 for Cody Bader with only one left to go. Wonder what Eric's going to do with the big red. Rob Hester, Eaton, Ohio's prime suspect, backs in on the infield side of things. As we say, a big thanks to Beck's Hybrids. Since 1937, Beck's has stood for the things that matter most: faith, independence, and helping farmers succeed. Thanks to Beck's Hybrid being one of our corporate sponsors throughout the year.
Well, real quick, Alan, over here on the 3.0 diesel truck class, we'll explain a little bit about the class real quick to the fans. It's an 8,000-pound truck, including the driver. The engine must be available in a 1-ton truck or smaller, and it's limited to 460 cubic inches, and may run one turbocharger with a maximum of 3-inch inlet. No water injection is prohibited. Diesel is the fuel only allowed. Vehicle's maximum base 158 inches and 26 inches on the drawbar. A little bit about our 3.0 diesel truck class here tonight.
Back to the infield we come with Rob Hester. Nicely done. The prime suspect out of Eaton, Ohio. .331, 965, 331 with a 965 for Rob Hester. Brian Carrington still with that 345 and 8 is the man on top. But let's move back to the grandstand side. We've got one vehicle left to go. And Keith, Cody Bader's 357 and 18 was a powerhouse run. Can Eric take Big Red and do it?
Well, this is a good running truck. I've seen him pull several times this summer and always right at the top of the score sheet. And this is your points leader coming in here tonight with our final hook here at the Great Darke County Fair. And he's going to have to make it a good one here. He's going to have to stretch that distance out a long way to beat that 357 here tonight.
Well, he's lined up and he looks down the track. He knows what he has to do. He's been watching all the rest of the drivers. The drivers gather at the starting line. They go to school. They know what's happening out there on the track. Eric Widman, Big Red, Republic, Ohio, the last of our Superstock Diesel, S&S Diesel sponsored class right here at the Darke County Fair. I don't know, Keith. I'm not going to call it from here.
By my viewpoint, he's going to fall a little bit short here tonight.
And you were right with making that call, Keith. 342 at 87 for Eric. 342 and an 87. Going to give Cody Bader the win. You want to see him and that truck front and center, right, Keith?
That's correct. So our winner here tonight in the 3.0 diesel truck class, Cody Bader, with a full bore. I will need you down here in front of the grandstand with you and your vehicle and crew. That's who's with you. So if you could, as quick as possible, come down here in front of the grandstand for the awards presentation.
Scoreboard showing us the placing of the top five of the class, and there's the last two. Boosted ending up in the number 6 position, and number 5 goes to Frank. Number 4 to Big Red. Number 3 to Damon Windland, and number 2 to Garrett Lautz with a 343.515. But Cody Bader on top with a 357 at 18, placing first in our Pro Stock Diesel 4-wheel drive. Out of Noblesville comes the fuss and fight of Todd Cameron. Todd Cameron lays down a great pass for that fuss and fight. Saw him run the other night as well. .329, 775. Had a request that the support vehicles that are parked over there on the inside of turn 1, down next to the track, The crowd behind you cannot see. They'd like to have those vehicles move, please. Got a couple of them down there. We need to back them up and allow the people behind you to see. We appreciate your cooperation. Yeah, you know who you are. Thank you. We appreciate it. Do a little reweight on our wagon to make sure that we're ready to go for our next class following our Pro Stock Diesel four-wheel drive. Next class up on the grandstand side is going to be our 7,500-pound modifieds. We'll talk a little bit more about those as they make their way out of class of 7. It's going to sound a little different tonight. There's no question about what we're going to hear out here on the track. It will be very self-explanatory when the time comes.